This is Main Street with Gary Allen. Now, here's Gary.
And hello, everybody, and welcome to Main Street. Gary Allen with you, your humble but always happy to be with you host. We've got a great show for you today, and I'm not going to waste a lot of time on a lot of things. There's some good stuff coming on down the line. I have been in touch with, I know I've had some emails. I've been in touch with Adrian Paul's people. You know him from The Highlander, the TV series. He's going to be joining us, I think, in September. They're working out some dates now with me, and we're going back and forth on that. But before we go too far, I just want to say I am so pleased to be with you, and I hope you enjoy all the shows that we put together. We have a great show for you today. We have four guests, and they're all comedians, actors, show business people, and some of the finest people you'll ever meet. And one of them in particular is a dear friend of mine, Mark Riccadonna. So without further ado, let me just introduce some of these folks to you. Our first guest is the only young lady on the panel today, and her name is Ashley Gutermuth, and she's a comedian, she's an actor, a podcaster, a host. Ashley is really a globetrotter. She has traveled all over the world, from Germany to Japan and everywhere in between. She was also the recipient of the Seinfeld Challenge Award, which she got on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon when Jerry Seinfeld saw her. Ashley is also award-winning the Edinburgh Fringe Show in Edinburgh, got a 5-star rating and 1.9 million followers. Ashley is also heavily tuned in and keyed in to the social media, where she makes her opinions well known. And her spouse is a retired Air Force officer, and I'm very proud of that fact. And Ashley has a following of 1 billion views on social media. Our next guest is Richie Minervini, who comes to us today thanks to the Betty Ford Clinic for allowing him to leave so early in this particular time. I'm only kidding. He's a comedian's comedian. He's an actor. Richie is also a performer everywhere you want to think: Las Vegas, New York, conventions all over the world, cruise ships, you name it. He's performed there and in Las Vegas. Richie also lends his name to many charitable events throughout the world or other organizations. Richie is also the former owner of the East Side Comedy Club, where such luminaries as Rosie O'Donnell, Jay Leno, Eddie Murphy, Kevin James, Ray Romano all got their start. He's been in Grown Ups 2, Mall Cop 1, Mall Cop 2, and Zookeeper. On TV, he did King of Queens with his very good friends Kevin James, Regis and Kathy Lee, excuse me, and of course The Rosie Show.
Ray Romano.
Huh? Yeah, Ray Romano. That's right. And John Fugelsang, a consummate broadcaster, a comedian, and an actor. John hosts Tell Me Everything on SiriusXM Insight Channel 121 from 9 until 12 p.m. weeknights. John was also a VJ on VH1 over the years, on VH1 and on his program on SiriusXM. He has literally interviewed the who's who of show business: Paul McCartney, George Harrison, which I understand is one of his favorites, Bruce Springsteen, Tony Bennett, who was one of my great singers who I worked with at one time, Joey Ramone of the Ramones, Carlos Santana, Bo Diddley, Ravi Shankar. I think that would be beautiful to do that. Helen Hunt, who I had a crush on growing as a younger man, and Mavis Staples. John, I'm going to get into that one because that's had to be an interesting interview. He's also performed in the Bill of Rights concert with Louis Black, as well as Dick Gregory, and he was once on CSI, and I say he was only on there once because he was murdered. And when you get murdered, it kind of tells you, I ain't coming back. That's for sure. And finally, my buddy from Youngstown, Ohio, Mark Riccadonna.
Riccadonna.
Yes, a comedian's comedian as well. He's an actor, writer, director, a funny man altogether. He is also a podcaster with his buddy Richie Burns. He does drinks, jokes, and storytellers, which is what Mark is, a storyteller. Mark's short film, Through the Open Doors, was also a feature at the Cannes Film Festival. Mark has also had been in a number of films like Days of Power, Cooler in Suited, I really, and what is in his name and Beer League series. Elaine Boozler said of him, the toughest part about following Mark is he's so damn good, it's hard to follow him. And also, the owner of the comic strip in New York once said of Mark, which is a pet peeve of mine, what I like about Mark the most is he works clean. He doesn't have to work dirty. He doesn't have to come up with dirty jokes just to get a laugh. He works absolutely clean, which is one of my pet peeves, even though my uncle was a blue comic. I thank you all once and all. Ashley, John, Mark, Richie, thank you all very much for being here. And thank you for taking the time out of your very busy schedule.
Thanks for having us, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad I went last because I have the least amount of credits.
Oh, you. No, that's not necessarily true. That's not necessarily true. By the way, for those of you in South Florida that'll be watching this, if you recognize Richie's last name, yes, his brother is Greg Minervini, who does the post-game, pre-game, play-by-play for baseball, hockey, basketball, you name it. He does it. One of the hardest working men in show business and broadcasting, and he used to be with the when it was the WWF. Many years ago doing the wrestling. So I want to get that out of the way for the people in South Florida to go, gee, he looks familiar. And Richie and I are almost practically neighbors anyway. He lives just down the road from me. So thank you all very much. For all of you, was show business the place you always wanted to land, or it just happened?
I'll let Ashley go first.
Oh, yeah. I've had a lot of jobs, and none of them go well after about 2 weeks. Yeah, it was all I ever wanted to do from when I was really little, but I didn't understand. Didn't seem possible. Both my parents were helicopter mechanics. They wanted me to do something like that too. But you don't want me fixing your helicopters.
Okay, I'll take your word for it, Ashley. John was I know how you got your job at VH1 is an interesting story, but before then, even leading up to that, was the business always somewhere where you wanted to land, but you weren't sure where? Was it?
Yeah. My mother was a nun before she married, and my father was a Franciscan brother. They both left and got married and had us. So growing up, I realized that I could never afford the therapy I actually required, and stand-up comedy seemed like a much more affordable alternative to pursue a life like that. So that's sort of how that went.
Now, real quick, before we get to Richie, because Richie is just, I got to be careful with Richie because he's just released from the Betty Ford Clinic. But how did you get your job at VH1? Mark told me the story, but I want everybody to know out there the story of how you got on VH1.
There's a number of stories. I was doing a whole routine where I ripped apart Michael Bolton. Is that the story, Mark?
That's the one when you told that, I lost it.
I had some piece. I was a young stand-up and I was doing a monthly one-man show in the Village, and I was getting good reviews and it was bringing down industry, and I had a whole routine where I just tore apart a Michael Bolton video because he was the artist VH1 played all the time. And I broke it down for the use of allegory and Kenny G as a Christ figure. I really went there, and VH1 executives eventually came down, and I massacred their channel so hard they offered me a job because I helped them remove the hyphen. They were really working on changing things there and removing the hyphen from the logo. So I went in to help with that. I'm sort of an engineer when it comes to punctuation. So yeah, so that was it, really. And then that wound up being my broadcasting grad school. I interviewing terrible pop stars I didn't respect really taught me a lot about broadcasting. And so it led me to interview terrible politicians I don't respect. And it taught me so much.
Well, it's the same as me. I went, when I got out of the Air Force, I really wasn't sure what I was going to do. My career of being an airline pilot was over with. My vision was already starting to decline a little bit.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And so I enrolled at the University of Miami, my favorite school of all time. I had the best years of my life there. And I studied what they call broadcast journalism. Nowadays, they call it communication. And my uncle, Tubby, was on Miami Beach, and he was sitting having lunch at Wolfie's with Larry King, who he knew very well. They were both heavy gamblers. And so Larry goes, so what's Gary up to now? No, he's studying. He's looking for an internship. He said, have him give me a call. Next thing I know, I'm interning for Larry. And then Larry hired me at WIOD in Miami, and it kind of took off from there. It just kind of, until I decided, I want to be an actor, like a dummy. I want to be an actor. Yeah, sure. Right. Okay.
Nothing dumb about that.
Yeah. Well, I did learn. I mean, with the Groundlings, I learned a great deal, and I learned a great deal. Richie, you are one half of one of the hardest working brotherly teams in all of show business. You and Greg, you owned the East Side Comedy Club for a very long time. What drove you to want to own a comedy club?
Well, I was a real estate agent. This restaurant was going out of business. I was dealing with the man's father. The guy was a little bit older than me, and oddly enough, he was a pilot. And comedy came in, I guess, getting popular with the Gong Show and stuff like that. I said, listen, as long as you got the license, why don't we put this comedy club together for the summer? And we opened it up, and it was packed immediately for 2 weeks. So we shut down. I bought the place from the guy. And then we had Jackie Mason come in for the grand opening.
Oh, God.
And the reason Jackie Mason came for the grand opening is I drove the limousine for him for about 2 years. I was a limousine / opening act for Jackie Mason.
Hey, first of all, let me tell you something right now. I didn't give Ed Sullivan the finger. He thought I gave him the finger. I didn't give him the finger. I was doing something else. I met his daughter once. She was okay. But when you opened up,
I was at the night. I was at.
It's breaking up on us. It's breaking up on us there, Richie. So when you opened up the club, was that the point where was that fun at first for you, or did it become a headache, or what?
It was great to hang out with Jackie Mason, but I don't think I'm. Sounds like a banjo's being played, and that's
yes. Yeah, it's chilling out here. It's
That's how the world sounded to Jackie Mason for the last 10 years, actually.
Yeah. Exactly. Look, Richie, do you have a computer with a like a laptop or something? Huh?
I'm gonna wait.
Okay. Well, all right. Let's go on over to Mark, and then Richie, when you get the chance to get back, please get back with us because your screen is freezing up. Mark, I know how
to tie the theme though together is everybody has something to do with flight. What they did in their background. My dad was an air traffic controller, but that's about it. That's about the closest I have to tying a theme with you guys on this.
Yeah,
it works.
I didn't know anything about show business. I knew nothing. I just knew I wanted to get out of Ohio, and I was a meathead. I was a jock. I was going to go to college just to play sports. I had no direction of what I wanted to do when I got out of, I just wanted to play sports for 4 more years. And then when I got hurt, I realized I couldn't play sports. And everybody goes, well, what do you like to do? And I look back at my life and I realize, like, all through high school, from when I was like in 7th grade on, I always had a video camera in my hand. And we were always making these horrible B horror films and like 70s cop movies where we'd get my dad's old leisure suits and paint mustaches on. And we'd run around town. It was a mix between like Jackass and, any old 70s cop movie. And I went, I'll be an actor. And I was like, I'll move to New York and become an actor. And I had no background in acting or anything like that. And I auditioned for like, I don't know, probably about 10 schools. They all turned me down except the hardest one to get in. They let me in. So I went I moved to New York City and went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. And as I was waiting tables at a comedy club, because I needed a day job, I decided, you know what, I should try comedy. And I tried comedy and it worked out, but mostly because I had a car. Because a really great comedian told me the best career advice I've ever got. If you want a career, what are the first 3 letters? Get a car. So I got a car and I drove up. I was the opening act and driver, just like Minervini.
Yeah.
And I got a ton of road work because I had a really nice car, so I could drive people to gigs. And I learned
Yeah.
on the job.
Ashley, who were your heroes when you finally decided comedy was it? Who did you look up to? Because back in the day, there weren't a lot of female comics like there are today.
Yeah, I mostly grew up with British comedians. So from when I was really little, I listened to Monty Python cassettes in the car going to work with my parents, up to a lot of 70s shows, and then Eddie Izzard, and there's an Irish comedian, Dara O'Brien, who's really good. The most of my the people that I really like, I got to see in Edinburgh when I did the Edinburgh Fringe, but don't come here very often.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and did you pay attention to like the two Ronnies and?
Oh yeah, four candles. No, four candles. Four candles. Yeah, that's a good bit.
Yeah, I have somewhere in my collection of cassettes, which is gone now because I don't think you can convert them anymore. Is Derek and Clive?
Oh, I don't know that.
Oh yeah, that was Dudley Cook. I was Cook. John, help me out here. It was Dudley
Peter
Cook.
Cook and Dudley Moore. Peter Cook.
Yeah,
and Dudley
Peter
Moore.
Cook and
Oh,
Dudley
yeah.
Moore. I'm getting them mixed. And they're both drunk as a skunk in the studio, and they talk about all kinds. Oh yes, we've got all. Yes, my job during the war was picking the boogers out of Winnie's nose. That's what I did. For the entire time, and then I would report over to the Queen, and I'd make sure that I wiped her butt really good. And they would go through all this stuff. It was something. And having my uncle, who he was, doing a dirty comic, it kind of fit right in there. But John, who did it for you? Who was the comic that you first said, yeah?
George Carlin changed my life. The first time I saw George Carlin on stage, I said I want to do that. I love the Marx Brothers and Don Rickles from a very early age, but it was seeing George Carlin, and I'd watched George Carlin live like everybody else, but seeing him live on the Jammin' in New York tour, which is where he kind of went from being a comedian to being an essayist, in his words. And that's what made me want to do political material and about and be a stand-up. So that was it for me.
It was him, Mort Saul, Dick Gregory.
Mort Saul. I got to work with Dick Gregory too. Yeah. I stole most of my material from Blue Collar Comedy Tour tapes, but I aspired to be like a George Carlin or a Mort Saul. I wound up actually just talking a lot about being a redneck and having trucks parked on my yard because I'm a hack and I'm a thief, but I aspired to be like a Richard Pryor or a Lenny Bruce. If they weren't hacks who stole from a Blue Collar Comedy Tour tapes, which is, I do a lot of material about having a TV on top of a larger TV that doesn't work because I'm a redneck, and that none of that's mine. It's a great shame. I aspired to be like George Carlin, but I was way too lazy, so I just stole from whatever I could find. Really.
And by the way,
that led to a very lucrative career, kids. By the way, I want you to know my lack of originality was the smartest choice I could have made professionally. Go ahead, please.
and by the way, George Carlin was in the Air Force.
Yes, he was, and so was Jimi Hendrix.
Yes, Jimi Hendrix was, and I got to see Jimi.
Join the Air Force.
Huh?
I got to go join the Air Force.
I was in the Air Force 4 years. I was in the. I didn't enlist. I was just crashing there. 4 years. 4 years from base to base.
You could have joined us anytime in Vietnam, boy, where I was in Pleiku. You could have crashed with us anytime you wanted to.
Yeah, I had arranged to have my egg fertilized a bit too late for that, but if I hadn't, that was bad planning on my part.
Oh, God.
I screwed up, man. I joined the KISS Army Reserves.
It would fit you the best.
Oh, God. Mark, I know. Yeah, by the way, I don't know if a lot of you know, when he left Ohio, Youngstown, Ohio, which when I was at Carnegie Mellon after the University of Miami,
Mark's life.
They turned me down.
It's a Springsteen song, this guy's life. Tell us about when he left Youngstown, please.
Oh, God. John, you know him, so you know this is true. His mother said, "What can I do to keep you here? Instead of you going to New York, I'm going to miss my baby." And he said, "Well, if you buy me a Trans Am like Burt Reynolds has. I'll stick around. She bought him the Trans Am. He took off to New York anyway.
Yeah.
And he took the Trans Am with him. He got to New York and he sold it.
It's a true story.
Oh.
My
And
mom asked what could
his
keep
mother's
me in
still
Ohio.
waiting. She's still waiting in the same bathrobe by the door for him to come back.
Yes, she is. She is. And she's got those big curlers up, and in her hair and everything. Where's my little Mocky?
All the
Where's my
flowers have
Mocky?
died. All the flowers have died, and still she stands there waiting.
I told her I'll be back. I got to get a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah, right. And the funny thing is, she goes, after he left, but he doesn't smoke.
Yeah.
He doesn't smoke. Where's he going? And
Now
his
it's a
father
Johnny
goes, you know where he's going perfectly
now it's a
well.
Johnny Cash song. Now it's a dirty Johnny Cash song. Outlaw you. You outlaw.
Oh, I'll tell you.
My mom
Yeah,
literally said, "Is there anything that would keep you in Ohio and you not move to New York?" She goes, "I want you to move. I want you to do whatever you want. I want you to be happy. But is there something that would keep you in Ohio?" I go, "If you buy me the car from Smokey and the Bandit, I'll stick around."
Now you can have the car. Now you can have the car. Now you can. I mean, there was. I think Reynolds told me once, because he and I would run into each other in L.A., that there were like 5 or 6 cars, John, for that movie. 2 of them had no engines in them. The ones they put on the carts for the close-ups and all that between him and Sally Fields.
You're ruining the movie for me. You're ruining the movie for me.
Oh,
now.
come on, John. Come on. How can I ruin a movie that you understand probably better than anybody? But, yeah, and it's funny, too, because when I was telling that story, Kevin Costner was sitting across from me. He was a classmate of mine at the Groundlings. And he said, wait a minute, you worked with Paul Newman in Absence of Malice? I said, yeah. He said, I want to work with him. I said, well, you will someday if you get up big enough like I was. I was an extra, basically. I had 2 lines in the whole movie, but it kind of burned his little butt a little tiny bit. Do you remember the first time you got on stage, you guys, as to how it was for you? I mean, were your legs shaking like crazy or were you nervous? John, I can't imagine you being nervous.
No, I was nervous until I got on stage.
Do you have that? Do you have that thing where it's like right when you take the stage, you're like, "It's mine now"?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Because I'm kind of a wreck the rest of the time, and then I relax. So yeah.
You're better on stage than you are off stage.
Yes, I am. I'm much more charming and convincing and engaging when I'm on stage.
I'm a better father when I'm on stage.
Your kids agree that you're a better father. Your kids generally say when you're on the road, you're a better father. They've told me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's their preference. Yeah,
they appreciate you a lot more.
We go over to help out with the Riccadonna kids, Gary, because Mark's away so much. But they always say, "We don't mind. Thank you for help, but we don't mind. We don't mind." Dad, could you work more, Dad? Could you work more?
We're raising money to help get Riccadonna's kids each a Trans Am.
Oh, absolutely. For me, it was a dare. And it was one of those kind of dares where it was like, well, come on, your uncle's funny. Why don't you get up on stage and be funny? And I went, I'm not funny. I do impressions. That's about it. I'm not funny. I had nothing written. I got up. I did a couple of impressions. The 5 minutes went by faster than you could spit. And the guy that owned the comedy place down in Miami goes, why don't you come on back? I'll give you some free time. I'll give you some open mic stuff. And then eventually but I still am not that funny. I mean, come on. I do my impersonations and stuff. That's where I made my meat and potatoes in LA doing voiceovers and stuff. But, it's like what it is. But Ashley, what about you as far as on stage the first time you got up there?
No, emotionally, I'm pretty dead inside. I don't get nervous.
Right on.
But
My type.
yeah.
She just gets nervous when the husband comes home and says, honey, I'm home.
I'm home. He's retired now, so he's home 24 hours a day.
Oh,
that has to be
that's so awesome for you. How lucky for you.
I remember being in high school and getting up I don't even know why I did it. I got up in front of everybody in the school and sang the theme song to what was the one with Alan Thicke, the TV show As Long As We Got Growing Pains. I sang the theme song to Growing Pains. They didn't ask me to. So anything beyond that, how much more embarrassed could I be or nervous if you're going to do that in front of your whole high school? I walked away and I was like, why did I do that?
Yeah, my high school, nobody even knew I was doing anything in show business till I went to LA and they saw me on Hill Street and St. Elsewhere and all that. And then when I came back to Hollywood, Florida, where I grew up, and the girl who was the head cheerleader wouldn't give me the time. She'd walk over me if I was laying dead on the sidewalk to get somewhere. She comes over to me when I'm taking my mom and dad out to dinner, big deal. And she hands me her, I said, "What's this for?" And I was married at the time. I had already married my wife, Gracie. And she only wanted to marry me because my last name is Allen. She wanted to be Gracie Allen, I guess. And I said, "Anita, you didn't give me the time of day in high school. Why would I call you now? Besides, I'm leaving to go back home to LA in a couple of days anyway." So, I mean, it was like, but do the kids from your whole high school days recognize you guys at all? John, especially you, you're out there in front of everybody on everywhere.
I was commonly mistaken for KD Lang by people from my high school days. Very often, which was great at Pride Month. I got into all the most awesome bars. Didn't have to wax as well. So really, I can't complain about that. Yeah.
But you say you get mistaken for Katie Lang?
Oh, on a good day, yes. On a good day.
On a good day.
Well,
Yeah.
what about on a bad?
I get like, we generic bland white men all look the same to you people. I know how it is. I get half the cast of Friends, and I get Matthew Broderick, whatever you got, Katie Lang. Show me a bland white guy, and I'll be told I look like them. And at the same time, my last name is Fugelsang, because sometimes God gives the most ethnic names to the absolute whitest guys. Which is also, I am very white. I'm Irish, Danish, and German.
Oh my God.
I get drunk, I hide the Jews, and I look for them. That's how white I am, folks. Irish, Danish, German.
My ex-wife
like
was German. My ex-wife was German and Irish. When she got angry, she didn't know whether she should get drunk or attack.
I was going to say, Irish, German, no temper issues in your house. Very well done.
No,
that's great.
Well, Gracie and I have been divorced a long, long time now.
Oh, well. Congratulations.
Yes, it was. There's like owning a boat. The best day when you get married, you say, "Oh, this is the greatest day, the greatest thing in the world." And then when you get your divorce, it's like, "Yeah, this is the second best, greatest day of my life, man." It's like, hey, I get out there and do whatever. And when you're single in Las Vegas, it's beautiful. I'm gonna tell you.
Wow.
Raise the ball. But anyway,
I can't wait to divorce you. I can't wait to divorce you. You make it sound great.
It is. It's fabulous. You can go where you want. You can do what you want. You can be friends with who you want, and you can argue with yourself, and nobody's going to get in between you. So, I mean, it's a fabulous thing. What is the part of the business that you don't like, that grinds you the most? I mean,
I hate every part of it except for when I'm on stage.
Well,
That's pretty much. Every other part of it sucks.
No, I mean,
I hate being away. I hate the travel. I hate calling bookers. I hate kissing people's ass to get stage time. I hate
the business. The business.
When I get on stage,
yeah,
it's worth it.
The business really. In broadcasting, it's terrible. And John, you know this pretty well. It's getting to be less and less. And with what's going on in Washington, I mean, I'm frightened for broadcasters everywhere. I truly am. That this cockroach.
Comedically, the challenges are great because there's so much bad comedy out there, and it's so easy to just fall into hack material about this guy's stupid hair or skin tone or whatever, and actually keeping it focused to the right outrage of the day and not the distraction of the day. It's designed to make you crazy. And honestly, so much of my job on SiriusXM every night has become talking people off a ledge about it. But that's been okay. Like we book a great mixture of politicians and comedians and celebrities and regulars, and it's all about putting the day to bed and separating the BS from the actual news, because so much of it is designed to just make us despair. For me, the challenge is creatively to keep it funny in good ways and not give in to anger. I just finished writing my first book, and I spent a year writing it. My first book's coming out next month. It's called Separation of Church and Hate, and it's a book about how to debate the Bible with right-wing Christian fundamentalists. And it's a Separation of Church and Hate, a sane person's guide to taking back the Bible from fundamentalists, fascists, and flock-fleecing frauds. And it's all about how on every issue that divides us, the loud right-wing Christians are generally against Jesus on pretty much every issue. And it's a book for atheists and believers of all faiths. Now, for me, writing it was a drag. I'm not a writer. It was really hard. But I just did the book on tape, and getting to perform it was the pleasure. The actual writing was the work. And getting it in the page and having it, do 5,000 rewrites for a year and a half. I went through that whole process. But when I got to go into the recording studio and do the book on tape, that was where I got to play. And that was the part where it felt like going on stage, because I had prepared so much to do it. That, it's about separating the work from the part of the work that's the play, which is on stage, or in some cases in the booth. But you find the part of the part that makes the work worthwhile. Whatever the work is, you find the part that's fun, that gets that thrill in you, that gets you improvising, that gets you to that magical place, and that makes all the work worth it leading up to that.
Yeah.
Or in my case, you just get the pharmaceuticals enough to give you that impression you've done that. And if you can fool your brain with drugs, then you can, pretty much just pass out.
Well, I got to tell you, I got to tell you right now, John, I've got to have you back once that book is published to talk about that and a few other things. So I hope we can work something out here to have you back.
He's hawking merch on the air, folks. He's hawking merch on the air.
Listen,
church merch.
Hey, listen. I've always looked at people like that, and I go, oh, come on, for God's sakes, come on, quit hawking your stuff and all this other stuff.
You watch these Christians on TV, and you always say, Jesus Christ, these people are the opposite of Jesus Christ. And I got tired of it. So I wrote this book for any believer of any faith and any agnostic and any atheist, anyone who has to deal with a Christian nationalist or a fundamentalist at their job, in their family, or in their social media feed. It's all about how you're not crazy. Jesus really was a nice guy, and their whole mission is against this guy. They're going to use Christianity as their camouflage, and I got tired of seeing my parents' religion used as a justification for meanness. So this is a guide to camouflage removal.
And the funny thing is, they go, well, Jesus Christ would be a conservative. No, he wouldn't. He's a liberal.
He would not. That's literally what got him killed. Yeah, the conservatives had him killed.
Absolutely.
Extreme conservative religious fundamentalists allied with authoritarian government is literally who killed Jesus.
And
I think it should be required reading John's book and everybody's required watching of Righteous Gemstones. And that puts everything in perspective.
I hope you'll read it before it's banned in Florida. We're hoping to be banned by November. We're hoping, but we'll see.
Well, this is Florida, so we'll see what happens. Ashley, where was I? What was it? What was I?
What do we hate about the business?
Oh yeah. Well, I know I hate the business part of it anyway, but go ahead.
Yeah, no. Well, same, kind of like what Mark was saying, but I struggle with flying. I said my parents were helicopter mechanics. Well, my last helicopter flight, my dad put me on when it was going to auto rotate. He thought it'd be funny. I was 9. And you're a helicopter pilot, they drop out of the sky. So I'm 9 and I have this imprint of, oh my God, I'm in the air and I'm falling and I'm going to die. So then for comedy, in the last 2 years, I went to like 14, 15 countries. And so every time I'm on a plane, I flew to Japan, I flew to Qatar. I'm on these, 15-hour flights just going, I'm going to die the whole time. So that is the part that I hate the most, which is why I now live in an Airstream and we drive it to gigs. It just takes me 3 weeks.
Nice.
Oh, that's fabulous. For me, it's just booking guests and talking to agents and getting past that. And then talking to this one, talking to that one about, getting people on. But the one thing that I don't like about the business and the comedy business itself is dirty comics. I can't stand them. And I'm seeing it more and more. Mark knows how I feel about this really bad. I remember sitting at the Improv with Jay Leno, Rick Overton, Bud Friedman, and Glenn Hirsch. And we were all sitting there, and there were a couple of young comics sitting off to the side. And we're all sitting there, and Bud was saying how, and Jay said it too, you work clean, you work everywhere. You work dirty, you're limited to where you're going to go. And Ashley, no offense to the female sect, but what is with women F-bombs every 30 seconds, talking about genitalia and everything? What is going on? I mean, what happened
I think male comics do that too.
Yeah,
John's like, hey, wait.
yeah, no, John, they do.
I'm going
but
to stand up for my gutter mouth gender, sir. My gender's complete disgrace as well as hers. Now, come on.
Well, it is really
Men
bad.
can make a mockery of decency as well as women, sir. I got to stand up for them for my awful disease.
All quiet in the court now, please. All quiet in the court now, please. Let's but does it seem to be all the way around more and more? Is that what the audiences want out there?
So from a women's perspective, there's it seems like women are talking about that because that's an unusual thing. And some women do, but a lot of men do too. You know, I remember when I moved from Seattle to New Jersey and I went into an open mic, and you go to open mics in Seattle, which are very different. You know, they have safe spaces. There's things you can't talk about. New Jersey, it was 17 guys in a row just telling jokes about, you know, all of their private parts. In fact, here's the crazy thing. Okay, I did an open mic, and this was a mistake. There's open mics that people shouldn't go to, and the reason why they exist is because those guys can't get any stage time. If it's late at night in a back alley and it's just one guy after another, it creates this weird bad magic. And there was that you walk in and they're talking about women that are too ugly, you know, to be attacked, and all these horrific things that they say, which made me realize, because people will sometimes complain, well, you should be able to say anything about anything. And, you know, it's like certain scenes that have these safe spaces and things like that. And I walked into that and I was like, I see why that happened. I was like, you guys caused this. There's like little facets of horrible people that when they get together and it creates these ripple effects, you know?
Yeah.
It's nasty.
But the thing is what they're saying is I have the right to say anything, but there's consequences to the actions. So yes, you do have the right to say anything. You do have the right to say anything, but there will be consequences.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same as like Joseph Wooten said, like, you can jump off a balcony. You can do it. You can go out and jump right off the balcony. There will be a consequence to that jump. And you have to follow that.
Unless you're on the first floor, and then
you want to go to Trenton, New Jersey and drop an N-bomb, you can. I wouldn't suggest it.
But our audience, I mean, I see Steve on Steve, what's his name, Mark? The guy with the glasses, Steve, the comedian. Hofstadler. Man, I see him handle audiences like he's been doing it his whole life. These people are really hostile and really negative. I mean, it's like, you know, is that the way audiences are?
When you walk into a room, like when you walk into a room, sometimes you're like, oh, this is going to be a fight. Like your hair stands up. Well, I am covered in it, but my hair is like, spidey senses go off and I go like, oh, tonight's going to be a fight. Like this is going to be, I'm going on stage and fighting for my life for an hour. And sometimes you walk into a room and you go, oh, I can't wait to get up. This is going to be so much fun. Like there are pockets of places that I've like gone and you know, there's going to be some kind of friction. They want that. And it's just, will you give it to them?
Yeah. Now, do
they
like
being clean or dirty? What you were saying though is like, I'm a rule follower. I like when somebody gives me the rules and I can figure it out. And when I was doing comedy, I never thought of myself as clean. I wrote jokes that I could tell anywhere. And then when I'd walk into the room, if it was a bunch of bikers, I might swear or I might, you know, be a little more graphic on stuff. But if I walk in, there's a bunch of old people, like, you know, these, what are they, the Purple Hat Societies sitting up front?
Oh,
like,
yeah, the Red Hats, yeah.
I'll keep it clean. I'll keep it nice. They're like, it's like my grandma, you know, like, you know, don't swear. And I try to be a little more charming than edgy. And it was like, then I started getting booked for clean shows. And I'm like, I'm not a clean act. And then they're like, yeah, you are. And I was like, I don't think I'm a clean act. And then I saw that it pays better to be clean. And so I was like, oh, yeah, I'm a clean act. If anybody needs
that's part of your whole persona as a charming sociopath, Mark, as well. I mean, that's right? Like, I mean, the clean comedy belies the really disturbing wretched man underneath. And I don't really need to talk about the sex trafficking allegations, and nothing was proven in court. People can go look on the internet
Yeah.
about what Mark,
Yeah.
the industry knows what Mark's done,
Oh,
or have been accused of doing. So, again,
That's
Yeah,
why it was really
just
big.
because you're a clean comic doesn't mean you're not a complete disease degenerate, like Mark
yes.
allegedly has been. There's
Yeah.
reasons a man
Alleged.
can't run a Cub Scout troop. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. John, there's one question I do want to ask you because I've been thinking about this with all the people you have interviewed,
Oh, dear.
show business people, politicians, et cetera, et cetera. Is there one or two? I mean, George Harrison was your favorite, I'm told. I'm told you really, Mavis Staples, that had to be an interesting interview beyond anything.
I don't
But
even know if that was his favorite, was George Harrison, but it was my favorite when he told it.
Oh, okay. Is there one interview or two interviews you would love to do again and approach from a different direction than you did the
What
first
a
time?
great question. Wow. What a great question. Absolutely, there are. Sure. If I could go back to my 20s when I was learning on the job and interviewing McCartney in London and just being an idiot, of course, I can't even think of how many I'd love to go back and redo. I just did a great interview the other night in Jones Beach with Willie Nelson, and I've interviewed him before over the years. 30 years ago, I first interviewed him at Farm Aid when I was a kid, and I got to go on his trailer at Jones Beach. He was playing with Bob Dylan the other night, and just to go and there's a lot of safety protocols with Willie. He's 92 now, and they're afraid of COVID, so you got to go through a lot to get close to him. And honestly, like, to me, that's like talking to someone from the Bible. That's like meeting Dick Gregory. Talking to Willie is always like an Old Testament experience for me. And I always want to, like, as soon as I'm done, I think of 10 things that I forgot to ask. Like, that's been on my mind all weekend. I was on Long Island, and then I had to go back to the city and then fly out to LA. And I was like, oh, I should have asked about this. Like, I've been going through it for 48 hours straight. So it's so funny you asked that. Yeah, always. Always.
Well, first, I hate to interrupt this, but the idea of Willie Nelson and Long Island in the same sentence is gold to me.
Right?
Hey,
I know.
that country music.
Is there?
This is where I used to get beaten up. This is where I used to get beaten up, Willie. It's so nice to have you here. Yeah.
Is there one before we go on? By the way, Ashley Gutermuth is with us, Mark Riccadonna, and of course John Fugelsang sang. And Richie Minervini was going to be with us, but unfortunately we had technical difficulties. I think the Betty Ford Clinic came along and took him back. I'm not really sure 100%. He's a great guy. Is there one get for you, John? And you ask and you ask and you ask, and they just keep turning you down, or
like in the world, like one person I would kill for?
Yeah. And they could be dead by now too, by the way, since you've been at it for a while.
that expands it even more. Then can I get Sidney Poitier? Like, I mean, like, wow. Can I get Shakespeare?
Wow.
Yeah,
Shakespeare.
They gave it.
Go for Jesus. You can get a quote for the book.
That's actually who I would need. It would be Jesus. He never spoke English, so it would be really an awkward conversation. Because
Aramaic, you could get somebody to speak Aramaic.
I'd have to find an ancient Aramaic translator, or go to the Hebrew.
See, to me, as a Jew, I'd want to go to Moses right away.
Yeah, I would go to Moses as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to interview Moses. I'd like to interview one of the disciples, like Thomas. What was there to doubt? I mean, you saw all the miracles. What did you doubt?
There. What do you want? The guy's right there.
Yeah, I mean, he cured the blind.
Did he think they hired like a Jesus lookalike from a booking agency? For God's sake, Thomas, the guy's right there. You don't need to see the hole in his side.
Come on.
I mean,
By the way, 3 days later, he's not dead anymore, but he's still got a hole in his side. Explain this to me, please, someone.
Well, you know the old joke, don't you? The three of you, about the Jewish family that goes to Israel on vacation. The guy promised that if he ever made a lot of money, he was going to take his whole family to Israel for a holiday. He gets there, and the mother-in-law passes away. Well, the rabbi comes over, who runs the mortuary, and he says, "Look, we can ship your mother back to New Jersey for you, your mother-in-law, or we can bury her here since she's Jewish." By the way, I do have a friend who is buried in Israel. His name is Zev Arbach. He's buried right down from Yanni, Netanyahu's brother. But he goes, but it's $10,000 to ship her back to New Jersey, where here it's only going to cost you a couple thousand just for the mourners and everything else. He says, "Let me go ask my wife." So he goes over, talks to his wife. He comes back. He said, "No, we're going to have her shipped back to New Jersey." He said, "I normally don't butt into people's business, but can you please tell me why You want to ship her back? He says, well, my wife and I remembered that some years ago you had a young man here who died, and 3 days later he rose from the dead. So that's always been one of my favorite things. But no, I've been to Israel, and I don't know if I'd want to be buried there or not. Ashley, I'm sure you have. John, you've been to Israel, I believe, haven't you?
I've never been to Israel. No, never had the pleasure.
It's an interesting place altogether, and it's constant hostility. I mean, it really is. You just never ever know when something's going to break out. You got to be careful who you talk to, where you go. It's like the one time when I flew over. I was in the Air Force. We went to Moscow, and we were in civilian clothes. And I know we were being followed by the KGB. I know we were being followed. Every place we went, we were being followed. So, it's one of those things.
If you want to talk comedy gold, Israel, Palestine, really, that's it. I mean, something that unites the dirty rooms and the clean rooms. If you got some good occupied territory material, you are going to be occupying the territory with laughs, folks. Let me tell
you. So who's on with you tonight?
I haven't even checked. I flew to LA and I haven't even looked to see who's on my show tonight. I haven't even started yet. We just had Nick Offerman on the other night. He's in a terrific new film called Sovereign. And I honestly wish I'd known. I know comedian Rhonda Hansen will be on with me to take listener calls and make fun of the headlines.
Love Rhonda.
Yeah. So we do a good mix of like comedians and celebrities and various different political folk.
Yeah, we've got about 10 minutes left, and I haven't even gone through most of the questions I was going to ask at any particular rate. Has there ever been in your lives another career that you might want to do when you were first starting out and you thought, oh, I don't know if I'm going to make a living at this. Maybe there's something else I can do. Is there anything else that you wanted to do? Maybe
this is a weird answer, but when I was in acting school, they asked us, they're like, listen, if you would do anything else, go do it. Like if there's another job you would want to do, like go do it, because this is like the hardest and worst thing. Not hard physically. There are coal miners and military people that do way harder stuff than us, but to work in this business is insane. Yeah. And I remember saying, I kind of want to do everything, and that's why I like acting. I could be a doctor, I could be a cop, I could be a burglar.
Exactly.
To me, that was like the greatest part of acting is like, I could be anything.
Yeah. What's a job where I don't have to be me? Please, can I get that job?
Yeah. No, but Mark, the way you look, I mean, you're born for porn.
Listen, when they do the Ron Jeremy biopic, I am a surefire.
You can get a hold of Mark Riccadonna right there at the bottom of the screen. Ashley also has a website that you can go to, and John also has one. Richie didn't have one, but that's okay. And Ashley, that's an interesting. Your last name is that had to be. Your husband was an officer, right?
He was, yeah.
Colonel, lieutenant colonel.
He retired as a colonel, yeah.
Oh, see, I only got to be a second lieutenant, and I even hated that rank because officers give me the hives to begin with. I got a field operation, a field promotion, because I supposedly did something. I don't know exactly what it is. John, what about you?
That sounds like the first scene of one of Mark's porn movies. But I'm sorry.
Yes.
Go on, please. Yes, go on.
Yes, absolutely. John,
Major boner.
Was there because John, where did you grow up, by the way? Where
I grew up on the Isle of Long. Outside of New York City on Long Island.
Was there anything else that you wanted to do? I mean, before show business hit your brain?
No, not beyond Long Island was what I wanted to do. So that was it for me.
Get out of Long Island. I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
That was it for me. Yeah. No, there was never that was it. I always knew that I wanted to do a lot of different things, and that I wanted to be an actor and a comedian and a broadcaster, and that I wanted to do all kinds of different creative endeavors. So like from doing documentaries for PBS to doing stand-up overseas for the troops to now writing my first book. I've always wanted to have a career where I just tried a lot of different stuff. And my parole officer says that's the way to continue being. So that's what I'm working towards.
Hey, listen, you got to listen to those parole officers. They're hands-on kind of people. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, mine's a little too hands-on, but if I report that, he's going to dock me. So I can't even, I'm trapped, but it's a different meeting, different show, different group. Sorry.
Well, we'll talk about that in therapy. It's always a good thing to discuss that. Ashley, was there anything for you?
Oh, I saw my like fifth grade yearbook the other day, and I wanted to be a professional baseball player. So
Right
it was
on.
that or comedy, but yeah, then
Yeah.
I was pretty good when I was a kid, and then they make it so you can't play boys baseball anymore. So I went from shortstop and batting fourth, and I went to softball. This isn't traumatic at all. Went to softball, and then went to throw the ball to the first base, the girl that was on first base, and she ran away from it screaming. So I thought, oh, well, my career's over. We're done.
I thought we'd have women playing Major League Baseball now. I really thought that like we'd get women playing Major League Baseball before we got legal weed. I always, but before we got gay marriage, I thought we'd get it, but nope.
Yeah, I don't see
Someday.
any reason why we don't, to be
They're
honest with
scared.
you.
Men are Nellies. Men are terrified. That's why. Men are
The only place I
terrified.
don't, the only place I don't think women really should be, is the NFL. Except owners and stuff like that. That's one thing, but I don't think putting on the pads and going out in the field and going up against. Because I had a brother who spent 14 years in the NFL, mostly with the Baltimore Colts. And believe me, that's a brutal sport. That is as brutal as anything I've ever been around.
It's awkward for
really-
me because I don't like football, but I like head injuries. So I'm always the wrong guy.
Oh yeah,
Always.
so that
CTE
should
is
have been
your-
your job.
Yeah,
So
that
in
I
other words,
like, but the actual sport I could do without, so it's,
Yeah.
I've already said too much.
No. Listen, the CTE, you're in with it. It's where you want to be, and that's always a good thing. I mean, I suppose I've never really
guess.
thought about it very
I
much.
don't know.
But,
Yeah. What are we talking about? What?
I have no idea. I lost control of this show when Richie wouldn't be on.
Where am I?
You're in Los Angeles, I think. I think somewhere
Right on. Thanks, man. Thanks.
in Los Angeles. But with the couple of minutes that we have left, Ashley, I know you got a couple of club dates coming up.
Yeah, I'll be 29th and 30th. I'll be in Tacoma, Washington, Nate Jackson's Super Funny Comedy Club. And then bouncing my way back to the East Coast for the winter to hibernate in my trailer and hopefully not blow away. So we'll
And
pick up some
Mark,
dates
what
there.
do you got cooking?
The 14th through 16th, I'll be at the Comedy Vault. It's in Belleville, Illinois, which is right outside of Chicago. So
I know that place. Yeah, I know.
looking to try to get some people out there. The other one is the big one is August 31st. I'm at Vinegar Hill Music Hall up in Portland, Maine, and we usually sell out. It's the New York versus Boston show. And Richie Minervini is going to be on it representing New York. And Kevin Flynn will be our Boston comic. And I always host it and I like playing neutral because I like both cities so much.
Yeah, and you live in Philadelphia, so it's like, okay. You find it dandy. And of course, for you, Mr. John, you've got your show weeknights from 9 until 12 on channel 121 on SiriusXM.
Actually, 127 actually, the Progress channel.
Okay, because it had 121 when I was looking
sorry,
up.
we changed, we moved a little whiles back, but only 6 to 9 on the Pacific Coast.
Hey, listen, I would listen to you. I
Thank you.
will hope to listen to you. I've always enjoyed your work. I really, really have. Before we go, I just want to thank you all very, very much for taking the time out of your day. I know we had a lot of fun. John, would you please remain after the show? I want to talk to you for just a couple of minutes. Just
Am I in
a
trouble?
few minutes.
That wasn't
No,
me. All right.
No. Listen, you sold the marijuana. We got over that. Ashley, would you please give your husband my best and thank him for his time in the military, please?
I will. Thank you for yours.
Ashley,
Great to talk to
can I thank you for your time on this podcast and for your service here, being part of this, because I'm grateful that you were here. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad.
And
You gave all for the last hour, Ashley, and I thank you for it.
And I love people that give it all. I'll tell you that right now. Mark, thank you so very much for helping me put this all together.
Yeah,
You're very
I
kind.
got to be online with a couple of my favorite people, so this was awesome.
We're going to have to do this again. We really will. I really hope so. But we've got it just a couple of minutes. Is there anything you guys want to say or do? Or John, one thing I do want to ask you about, and this is just kind of off the cuff. When are the maggots, and that's what I call them, when are they going to wise up to this guy is a fascist cockroach?
It's begun. Half of them have begun. Okay, we're already witnessing it with the Trump-Elon breakup, which was beautiful to me. The Trump-Elon breakup was like the Hindenburg crashing into the Titanic with the Benny Hill theme song playing in the background. Okay. See, what I want you all to remember is you got to take some time to stop and smell the train wreck. Okay, because it's going to be awful. A lot of people are going to be hurt. You got to savor the comedy where you can find it, and there's going to be a lot. So before this mediocre, amoral eyeliner model baby man becomes president, and Donald Trump's arteries have done what they've come here to do, please, when you're doom scrolling, savor the comedy, because he's not a well man. You guys know this, right? Donald Trump's not well. I mean, he's 40% Crisco at this point, and the doctors are nervous. They measure his insulin with a dipstick. So he's not a well man. His blood type is ranch dressing. Okay, so we're all very it's just thoughts and prayers for him. Because have you seen his ankles? He looks like he's smuggling ham hocks across the border, and we're concerned about the man. Okay, the blood is pooling in his ankles, and it's so slow. Both of his ankles are so slow. He's calling them Don Jr. and Eric. That's how slow they are. Okay, we're just worried about the man, and he is going to die. We don't want him to die. We don't want him to suffer. We want 3 ghosts to visit him on Christmas Eve and make him but he is going to die, and you got to be ready for that, folks. Donald Trump, I don't want him to die. We're all going to die, and he's going to die, and you should be alive for that, because you know Melania's bringing a date, right? You know Melania's bringing a date to that funeral. You know that casket is going to look like Liberace's piano. You want to be alive for this, folks. I don't care how depressed you are. You're going to say, no, I'm staying alive for Donald Trump's funeral, and the Donald Trump Presidential Library and Museum, which will probably have to be the Presidential Library and Casino, because they'll be taking these rubes money from beyond the grave.
Oh God!
Not here to pee on his grave. Okay, he might enjoy it. I'm just saying, we're worried about his health.
I can't wait. Listen, John, I can't wait for the video from Russia to come out. I'm still waiting for that.
I am too. I know. Yeah,
I really am. Hey, listen, you guys have been great. John, please stay there right after we do close out. I want to talk to you for a few minutes. Mark, thank you so much. I'll call you later. Ashley, give Mark your number where I can really get a hold of you, because all I get is BAM Entertainment.
I sent the wrong number. I'm sorry.
Okay, all right.
My bad.
And God bless you. And I'm going to talk to Richie in a couple of days anyway, because he lives right down the road from me. So thank you all very much. And to all of you out there watching this program, thank you so much again. Please, God bless you. Take care of yourselves and take care.